Hello, hello. This is Daryl,
And this is John, struggling with Discord.
and we're both extremely tired today. And
Yep.
this is the Town of Orphaned Characters, our weekly podcast where we roll up characters who are gonna live in our town. Let's see what tired, dream rattled things we make today, John.
Sounds good.
Oh, for those of you who are just catching this episode as your first one, welcome. I love that you're here. If you haven't listened to the previous episode, we made a Kinku. And I believe it was a Kinku Mall? No,
Kinku Ranger.
Ranger. Yes, that's
Bubbles.
right. I was editing, Bubbles. I was editing another one of our episodes, and I got it all mixed up. But yeah, our Ranger Kinku, who's a criminal spy, who is not great at ranged stuff, but you can make it work. I'm sure. We trust in you. We believe in you in the heart of the player.
I like that character a lot.
Yes.
I think I always struggle each week to remember what we rolled on the previous week.
Yeah, it happens.
I think, because life gets, occupies so much of my brain. But I do remember a few details about Bubbles. Mainly that she was wasn't she I'm struggling to find them, but like a bootlegger, not bootlegger. Yeah.
Oh, she was a moonshiner.
Moonshiner. Same difference.
Yeah, bootlegger, moonshiner, tomato. Depends on what kind of car you're racing.
Who lost somebody important to her.
Mm-hmm.
So go listen to that episode if you'd like to hear us make that character. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I enjoy these weird ones. Like I was just finishing up some editing on the 10th and 11th episode, and I was like, oh, you know what? The background to our lovely, where is she?
Jenny Frost.
Jenny Frost. Yep. Our no, not Jenny Frost. Because Jenny Frost is our human sorcerer.
Cloxus then.
Yeah, Cloxus. It was Cloxus. Yeah, because there was a fun name to say of the forest gnome. The backgrounds are very similar to Bubbles. Criminal spy, but completely different. Like I was just thinking about it when I was doing the editing. Completely different character aspects. So like,
yeah,
they have different roles, different ideas. So
I don't know how. I don't even know if you put those two characters in a room together, how well they would get along.
no, like they would recognize each other as being kind of shady.
Yeah, totally.
But like, I feel like Cloxus would be upset that Bubbles is using the nature and putting the animals and the dire hedgehogs in danger by having their still and their bootlegging brewery in the mountain streams, making that moonshine and stuff. And yeah, so I love that.
I think Cloxus would also be jealous that Bubbles got to be a ranger while Cloxus has to be a monk.
Yes. I did not realize how dejected I sounded when we both rolled monk on
I just
Cloxus.
listened to that episode because just transparency, we record a few weeks ahead, and so the week that we're recording this one, the Cloxus episode has just been released. So I just re-listened to that, and yeah, I laughed the whole time I was listening to that episode, and it just
it's such a roller coaster. Like I enjoyed it, and then I was like, and we both wrote a 6, and I was just like, it's monk. Monk.
No, we made it work, and I think we made Bubbles work, and we're definitely going to make this new character work.
Yes, and speaking of which, we roll on a table with pretty much all of the races on there. There's going to be a new book, John, called Tasha's Guide to Everything, if I remember correctly. And there's actually been hinted at new race and character building options
Oh,
where you
nice.
can shift the racial bonuses around to new abilities.
Ooh, spicy.
Yeah.
I like
So
that.
like, I'm definitely gonna have to get that because we roll up a normal character, we get to a whimsy die, and we have to shift all of our racial bonuses to a different thing.
Dude, I love
That's
that.
gonna be
I
fun.
love that idea.
Hmm.
And I'm glad you mentioned it because I actually wanted to bring up another piece of news. Wizards has announced that next year they're releasing a Magic the Gathering set in the Forgotten Realms,
Which
which is awesome,
ridiculous.
right? Yeah, I think we're both excited about that. So I think
Yes.
something that we have some plans already anyways, but maybe in the future we can roll some characters for that. Or maybe what if we just do a deck tech? We do a D&D deck.
A
I don't
D&D
know.
deck, and as a bonus episode, we'll do we each make a D&D deck, and then we try to fight.
I'd love for there to
Ex-
be a way to play Magic while also role playing. You know what I mean?
that would be pretty cool.
I've thought about
Yeah.
that. I've often thought about that. Like, what if instead of rolling dice, or even in addition to rolling dice, you have a deck of cards and things happen?
Mm-hmm.
But it just seems like the games really don't
Mesh
mesh
well
that
for
way.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
But anyway, that leads us into choosing a race for our new character. We're not going to give Bubbles really a home. She's going to hang out with whoever she wants to and whoever she thinks like she imprints on, and that's up to you as the listeners to help imprint and choose who she's going to follow on. We want to hear after you've listened to the episode. We would love to hear what you say about that and comment on it. So we're going to move right along to our race. It's a D10 and a D20. And I think, John, I would like to roll the D20 today.
Cool. Go for it.
If you would
You want me to do the
do so
10?
nice to do the 10. Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, 13.
Put my little box away. Hold on.
Yeah.
And that's a 7.
20.
So that makes it 26.
Nope, 20.
Oh,
I have
20.
a 13
I
and
thought
a
you said
7.
19 for some reason.
Nope. So let's go back and count. I think it's going to be this. Oh. No. Am I counting right? Sorry, I don't have the spreadsheet. I just use D&D Beyond. So sometimes I have to do some actual counting, and it takes me a moment here. Okay. Kobold.
Oh, another kobold. Okay.
Uh-huh. And again, I say this, that like I'm counting, but if I count down from UNT Pureblood to 20, it's lizard folk. But if I count down from the top of the chart, it's kobold, which is why I'm so confused. So at some point, I'm really bad at math and counting.
I think we can all forgive you. Plus, honestly, maybe we can switch that up every now and then. Right? It's true. This is the first repeat we've had other than human.
Uh-huh.
If you count Sarah the cleric, then This is the first repeat. There's only been humans that we've had 2 of, but if you don't count, Sarah, then this is our first racial repeat.
It is. It's really interesting, and it's nice that it's one of the timid and like partnering type of races where they want to hang out and work together.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, kobolds are little lizard folk style people descended from dragons, typically monstrous, typically are used as throwaway fodder for low adventurers or for high adventurers to like one shot and kill, just to like swarm and show that the big bad has a huge army of kobolds, but nobody really cares. And our previous one was a
Garu.
Garu. And Garu was definitely an interesting character with being mixed with a draconic sorcerer and what is that Antique Roadshow style character of going through and trying to like get people to think that their pottery is expensive, and then selling them their pottery.
And he lives in a van down by the river, or a carriage down by the river.
It's not even a carriage. It's like a mossy like wagon. like can't even afford a real carriage, and it's like he like stole some kid's like little like wooden wagon and like drags it behind him and then sleeps in it.
Nice. Just turns it upside down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Such a poor sad little character there. So now we need to figure out, we have our kobold. I'm not going to go through all the racial traits, but basically to say our kobolds are not going to do a lot in the sunlight because of sun sensitivity, but general things. The big thing with kobolds is they get advantage if they are attacking with an ally near them, and that they are small, like 2 to 3 feet tall, which we haven't really. This might be something that we need to add on later on into our roles, is height and weight.
Why didn't we think of that before?
Because we like to just describe generally about the character,
right.
And then let the listeners decide. It's a very interactive podcast, delayed by time, but interactive nonetheless.
So let us know in the comments below what you think of that idea. Should we be adding dice rolls for height and weight?
Yeah, I mean, if we do that, we're going to get into descriptions of the character a little bit more.
I mean, I think every now and then it might be okay. Maybe as a whimsy dice thing, like height, like it just changes whatever their height is. You know? Or makes them incredibly obese. Like, oh, that changes things.
Turns out that your kobold is actually not 2 feet tall. It's actually 4 feet tall, and it's a giant among kobolds. It makes lizard folk confused and question themselves. Speaking of questioning themselves, let's move right along to gender and presents as to figure out.
That was kind of. I'm sorry, in poor taste.
A little bit, but we have a lot of androgynous characters in our town, and I feel like that this is just going to be a trend. Our town is not what it seems.
There's a lot of discovery going on. That's okay.
Yeah, and I kind of picture the town being in such a way that like the characters, you're not really sure about what class they are, because some of our characters are like, I'm a melee class, and you're like, but you aren't strong.
Yeah.
And then they're also like, and I can't tell if you're a boy or a girl. And the kobold's like, bitch,
neither
don't
can
ask those questions.
There's nothing. I think it's just diversity, and that's fun, right?
Yeah, it's
that's
always
what
fun.
We set out to do, is to create these very diverse characters that, like, I imagine somebody trying to play our town as a setting, that might get confusing, right? the goal, though, is really not to create a setting for people to play, although do that if you want to. We'd love that.
That would be
for you
amazing.
to have these characters as adoptables that you can just bring into your own games to add variety.
Yeah. John, do you want to roll for Born As today?
Sure.
Okay, I'll do presents.
All right.
With my nice non-clickety-clack dice, because I am a sad person.
I rolled a 6, so our character is intersex.
And presents as masculine.
Nice.
Okay. And I think it's interesting. We talked about this before with Garu, the fact that kobolds and lizard folk could take tropes and images from biodiversity in the world, birds and lizards, to describe, and like pheromones. And I think that's one of the reasons why Garu seems androgynous. It's because of the source of blood. But it's interesting. What if the majority of kobolds are just intersex to begin with. Like,
Right. Yeah. I could see that. I mean, that's a thing. What is the famous line from Jurassic Park? Is life finds a way, and
yeah, yeah.
the talking about the amphibian
Hmm.
DNA used in the reptiles or the dinosaurs,
Yeah.
giving them the ability
Cause,
to. That's not exactly the same thing, right?
yeah.
Or really not the same thing at all. So maybe a
Eh,
comparison there is a little unfair or a little reductive, but
but I mean, like,
I think as a species, that's entirely
mhm.
possible. Is really what
Yeah,
I'm trying to say.
yeah. So it's a very interesting idea that I haven't thought about. Like, as a race, kobolds are, maybe lizard folk themselves are just naturally typically intersexed.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
at,
possible.
at
Because what did we say last time? We talked about how when they reach like sexual maturity is when they start to show the like features of
hmm
being whatever gender they are. Maybe
yeah,
there's even more there, and they're actually intersex until they choose a gender,
hmm yeah,
or some sort of environmental factor
yeah,
helps that occur.
yeah. So like a large portion of male workers have been decimated in a
Mm,
fight, so they're left with a lot of intersex and female
yeah,
kobolds, and so testosterone kicks in and they become male, and they develop that way. Or it reminds me of like crocodilian style, like with
yeah,
the eggs, like the temperature changes. Wow. So it's a very interesting idea to play with as a DM and world building for your player characters. Let them know
yeah,
these kind of things, because that's a really interesting idea. Like, hey, most of the time, this race is intersex or non-gendered to begin with, and some kind of environmental thing happens, and then while they're playing the character in a game, that trigger happens,
yeah,
and then suddenly it went from being describing your character as kind of passive and I don't know, whatever you else described in your mind, to being kind of middle of the road, not there, to suddenly being like a love interest for another character, and everybody's just like, wait, what?
yeah, yeah.
So
Or suddenly having more masculine behaviors and features. I think,
yes,
yeah, I
yes, yeah.
agree. I think that it's a really great opportunity to like it makes me think of like an episode of Farscape or Star Trek,
Hmm.
or like something from maybe Mass Effect.
Yeah,
Like I could see that sort of species existing in one of those worlds. So,
totally. And
um,
then like you have a companion who's one of them, and you have to help them deal with the emotional and societal repercussions of like changing, and
yeah.
like they're going through the development of it. But
Mhm. And then there's a choice there too, right? Like you could choose for that to be the story you wanted to tell, or
yeah,
it could be the story you could tell could be that this is a personal choice for the character once they reach a certain age and they need to do some sort of initiation or ritual to mature or not,
yeah.
right? Like it could be
Hmm.
possible that these characters could choose to be male, female, or to remain intersex.
That's true. That's true. It reminds me of Pikachu.
Yeah,
Your character could be a Pikachu, just refusing to evolve. Um,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
and there
I,
is nothing wrong with that.
I think it's what we're trying to say is like there's a lot of opportunity
Hmm.
and a lot of ways you could play it out, and we don't really want to discourage any one choice.
No, and we want to, as we brainstorm this, we want you to be able to listen and take this idea
Hmm.
and either expand upon it into your own universe for DMing, or bring it into your campaign
Yeah.
as a player character and like play with it, test it out,
Mm.
feel this out. We were talking about the maturity and reaching like adulthood. Kobolds reach adulthood at age 6.
So pretty early. Yeah.
Yeah, and they can live up to 120. So let's go ahead and do our typical D4 D6 combination.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to roll a D6 and add it to 6 to see where our starting age might be.
Okay. And you
Just
want me to
because.
roll the D4 and the D6?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm gonna do the starting age addition, and you're gonna do the
Okay.
multiplication. I don't know. I feel like. No. Just roll both of them. You roll both. I'm not gonna change anything. We're gonna start at age 6. We're gonna leave it at
Okay. So
that
this is going to be we multiply these together and
and add it to the
add them to the 6. Okay.
1 and 1.
No, it's a 2 and a 3. So 6 plus 6 is 12.
So this little fourth grader is going into life-threatening adventures. But for kobolds, they draconic, and I feel like they're a race that really does need to age quickly and mature quickly because adventurers kill them all the
I
time.
know, man. What's up with that? Y'all,
It's just,
the world needs to change.
yeah. Stop hating on the kobolds. Goblins are the real problem.
Yeah. I don't think that our Sophia would appreciate that.
No. But I can feel like that would be if this character turns out to be like evil or something like that, that could be one of the sticks. It's like always trying to point blame of evil things to other small races. Like, oh, you can't trust the gnomes. The gnomes are the ones that you can't trust. Like, speaking of alignment and being evil, I rolled a 9, and on our chart, that's chaotic evil.
Oh, we just created a super villain.
We just created like the most racist character in the town.
Oh man.
Like, so those of you who don't know, this is the description of chaotic evil as D&D has it. Chaotic evils act with arbitrary violence, spurred by their greed, hatred, or bloodlust. Dragons, demons, and orcs are chaotic evil. Red dragons, I should say. So, yeah, this could be kind of maybe this is more of a racist character. Or a bigot, because racism is a structural, systematic thing. Bigotry is when you hate somebody based on information and falsehoods. Maybe this character, without knowing anything else about, but just the thing, they're tired of being picked on because they're small. They're tired of being the butt of all of the adventurers, like attacks and jokes, and so they take it out by spreading lies and misinformation about other small races to try to get adventurers and the populace to dislike them. This could also be your typical kind of kobold who maybe is more feral. Not feral, but more wild, and maybe their clan was wiped out by adventurers, and now they're just going around into small human towns and like taking what they want, and if they get interrupted, they just kill. This is the murder hobo. This is our murder hobo.
Yeah,
we had Jenny Frost as the murder hobo, but this is really the.
I think I'm trying to think of it in context of like what would bring this character to the town. Are they maybe our first criminal? Are they somebody who is going to be preying on the town from the outskirts, sneaking in at night and stealing things? Are they an antagonist? How do they fit into the sort of structure or society that we have here? Or are they there in some other way to antagonize the other characters in the town? I do like the racism angle that you're going with, but I think that we're going to have to wait and see how the background comes out before we know those details for sure.
Yeah. Before we can figure out exactly, we're going to need a few more rolls. I think I like the idea that they're coming in from the outskirts. They're not really part of the town, or they're kind of the hoodlum of the town. Like, they start coming in and out, and like whenever they're around, there's always some kind of trouble that happens. And granted, the whole town's adventurous, so trouble goes wherever they are. But this character just kind of like goes above and beyond, and like they go into the bigger town or like one of the outskirt taverns and like get into drunken brawl fights and like shank some people's ankles,
Yeah.
just because they're mad,
Yeah.
So,
Or they start fights between characters. They get like, characters who are normally friends
yeah.
to turn against each other. This character is capable of all of those things. Capable of racism, capable of just being a dick, capable of murder hoboing, all of the above.
Compared to our other evil characters who are greedy and self-focused,
Right.
but within a boundaries of some kind of law, typically, because we have mostly a lawful evil characters. So they try to stay within the boundaries of the law, but they try to bend it and get the most benefit for themselves.
Yeah.
I think this character just doesn't care.
Yeah, totally.
How they get what they want, and they don't care so much about the other people in the town and their outlooks. Very self-focused, self-centered, self-absorbed, probably, and just doesn't give a that no give a damn style. Screw you, I'm doing what I want. I'm gonna march this way. I'm gonna do this. Like, just blatantly thinks you're like, man, did you stop to think about it? And the guy's like, no, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear my mask down below my chin and deal with it.
Just let it all hang out.
Yeah. Speaking of letting it all hang out,
man.
we're moving along to ability scores. Our 4d6 take the highest 3.
Yeah.
And John, today I would like to do something different.
Okay.
And I know different is the motto of our podcast, but it's going to be a little weird. We're going to go backwards. We're going to go from charisma to strength.
Okay, I can dig it.
And we're going to see how big of a dick this character is really going to be.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with charisma. And I will be happy to say that our kobold is not going to be a big dick. He is an average dick.
Okay.
I got a 1, 1, 3, and a 6. So 10.
Oh, okay. That's
That's
not terrible.
Yeah. He's just your normal go-to kind of person.
Okay. So you ready for wisdom?
I'm ready for it. Let's see what happens.
Oh, here it is. 4, 3, 2, 1. So that makes them a 9.
Yahtzee.
Yep.
Okay, let's go with intelligence. Okay. 6, 4, 3, 3. So 13. Fairly intelligent.
Okay. Almost an evil mastermind.
Yeah. Discounted evil mastermind.
Evil high school graduate.
Yeah. Like most of them.
All right. So for Constitution, I rolled really high, or comparatively high.
Mm-hmm.
6, 5, 4, and a 1. So that is a 15.
Yes. Here we go. Time for the super roll. 4 6s. Let's go. Well, that's not 4 6s, but I'm not going to complain. 6, 5, 5, and 3. 16.
Oh, okay. We're turning out to be a bit of a brute here, possibly.
Yeah.
That or we're going to be dodgy AF. Maybe this... Is this a rogue?
This might be our rogue, man.
We're definitely going to want it to be one.
I want it to be one already. Like
5, 5, 4, and 3. So that is a 14.
Okay. So for our final scores, strength is 12 because we have a racial modifier of -2.
Okay.
Dexterity is 18 because we have a modifier of +2.
Nice.
15 constitution, 13 intelligence, 9 wisdom, and 10 charisma.
I dig it.
Yeah. So, as you said, This is dodgy AF. This is dodgy
Yeah, the
McDodge
only thing
dodge.
that could be better than Rogue would maybe be Monk, just based on stats.
Yeah.
Right. But
I
but
I think that or a barbarian. Because barbarian
yeah,
get unarmored defense with dexterity and constitution as their
that'd be so flavorful. That'd be perfect.
like it's just
Right.
this is the little yappy dog of adventurers. Just pissed, like pure unadulterated concentrate of rage condensed into a 2-foot lizard person.
Yeah, this is a character one of my nephews might roll. Like, I want to be evil and dodgy AF. Okay, cool, buddy. Let's do it. What do you do? It's like you're in the tavern. What do you do? I break everything.
I'm edgy. Smash. So here's a thought. Just as we described this character being dodgy AF and a little bundle of anger, is that maybe that's the issue with this character and why they're evil. It's not that like they're out to like specifically be mean to people like that. It's just they're angry all the time of being picked on by adventurers and all these tall races, and like they just see like people trying to pick fights with them everywhere, and so their initial they don't have a fight or flight response. They have a fight and fight harder response. And they just meet any type of opposition with just aggression and violence.
I'm seeing that's definitely in the cards. That's where we want it to go, right?
Maybe, yeah.
The background is totally gonna jack all this up. We're gonna end up with like, I'm a pacifist. Like
that would be hilarious if they were a pacifist, but they were just constantly angry, and they're like trying to do a Bruce Banner, and like, I can't kill you, but I've stabbed you 15 times in my mind.
I feel like there are some pop culture characters that actually embody this, like angry ex-girlfriend or crazy ex-girlfriend. Characters like just like these horribly passive aggressive, terrible people,
John,
who just crap on each other.
Yes. Oh, it's a Mean Girl style character where he's just constantly berating and like side eyeing and shade throwing everybody.
Yeah.
John, as much fun as this is so far, I think we need a little bit more whimsy.
Yeah, we do.
So
I agree.
We will do 1 to 4 will be one of the random character issues. 5 will be a reroll of an ability score. And 6 will be a level up.
Okay.
Would you please go ahead and roll us a d6?
Yes. I rolled a 5.
A 5, a reroll of an ability score.
Uh-oh, fam.
And there goes our great dexterity.
Okay. I know, right?
Yes, I rolled a 2, which is dexterity.
Damn you, whimsy die!
Whimsy!
Why have we decided to do this to ourselves? Okay, so we're going to re-roll the dex.
I guess, unless we're going by the order at which we rolled them, which it would be wisdom instead.
Yeah. Last time we said...
I normally go left to right when I do these numbers, so...
Yeah.
But we did switch it today, so that means it's reverse day, right? So when it would be wisdom.
It's not. I don't know if it's opposite day, but let me do this, Daryl. Yeah. Hey, Tamsin, wisdom or dex? Without any context, just pick one.
Dex?
Nope.
You pick dex.
It's dex. Okay.
Damn it, Tamsin.
So John,
Thank you. I love you. Bye bye. Good night, sweetheart. Okay.
John, are you rolling to? Because I rolled the dexterity, so I guess you have to roll the whimsy changing of the dexterity.
Yeah.
Okay, John.
Oof. Oof. Many oofs. Okay.
Roll 3 6s.
I'm scared too. I'm really scared.
Oh, he doesn't look brave. He doesn't look happy about this.
4, 4, 3, and 3. So that
Oh,
brings our dex down to a
11.
11 from our best stat. Oh, so we got a 13,
Yep.
right? Because we have that. So I have that +2.
Yep.
Ooh,
I can still see Barbarian.
this is when the DM looks at your stat sheet and goes, "You can't have an 18. Reroll that."
Yeah. They're like, how do you have a nat 20 in your dexterity at level 1? Oh, reroll that shit.
Reroll that shit. Oh,
Oh, goodness.
feels bad. Such a whimsy.
Not for us. I'm going to go ahead and roll a D100 for our list of occupations to figure out what this
Okay.
character did before they started to adventure. 33, which ferryman.
Just really angry ferryman.
God, always wanting to go across the river, always going back and forth. Gotta carry everything. Ugh.
Yeah, now he's just got a chip on his shoulder about all the customers that he has to deal with all day long.
Yes.
It's kind of appropriate that we are on the banks of a river, right?
Mm-hmm.
And near the ocean. So
yeah, so he could be going up and down and ferrying people across. John,
he's literally just a disgruntled bus driver at this point. Like,
roll a d20 for the background, please.
okay. I mean, from evil thief, evil rogue, mastermind to disgruntled bus driver real fast.
Thank you, Whimsy. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So here's my D20 roll. I rolled a 3.
John, stop rolling 3s. That's a criminal spy.
Really?
Yes. But I left the Magic the Gathering thing.
Oh.
And I was like, 3, Boros Legionnaire. Wait, what?
It's actually super flavorful for Boros Legionnaire.
Yeah. Oh.
So I think like, here's an aside for you. I think we should leave the Magic the Gathering ones in when for the Forgotten Realms set comes out, because they're going to create a source book.
Yes.
For the Forgotten Realms sets, they're going to do like a Magic the Gathering Adventures in the Forgotten Realms.
That's true.
D&D source book. When they do that, they'll probably add a bunch of Magic the Gathering races, and it'll be like, here is like everything that we have not so far included from Magic the Gathering. Just boom, just one giant book, like everything. Because so far it's been like based on sets, right? Yeah. They had, gosh, I don't remember which ones they had. They had a bunch, but I'm sure there are races that they have missed. Magic the Gathering has a ton of races.
Yeah. So
probably more than D&D does.
Actually, I'm just reading over the Legionnaire, and we call it Boros. Boros is red, white, and it's typically red aggro-ish, right, with law and what like that. And it's like you're a member of the Boros Legion. Your life is dedicated to the service of angels and consecrated work of establishing justice, peace on the streets of Ravnica. You might be a true believer or a cynic in the ranks. Perhaps you reluctantly followed in the footsteps of a Boros parent to come to the persuasion of a charismatic recruiter. So this really could be like, it's not, Boros is in Magic the Gathering terms a color and an aspect of the personality. We could easily say that this is just a kobold who was in a legion, maybe recruited through hobgoblins, maybe actually in a human militia, or in just like a large kobold army, and is just jaded and tired of, like, he went in to be a soldier and became a ferryman, and is just pissed off at like everybody's
Yeah.
looking down on him style.
Or what if
Hmm.
sometimes you go into the military and you expect for your position to be one of battle and glory,
Yeah.
and you end up being the bus driver
For all the new recruits.
for all the new recruits. I say I'm down with the Legionnaire thing.
Uh-huh.
Legionnaire bus driver, transportation specialist.
Yeah, he's
Um,
he's like, choo choo, all aboard the pain train. Let's go.
yeah, he was. I'm gonna say he was a ferry operator for this legion
Mhm.
that he was a member of.
Maybe so. Along with the reluctant recruit idea, we talked about how Jenny Frost is bringing in like the city guard from one of the larger towns
Mm-hmm.
that's in the control of this area. What if he was a kobold who was captured and has had been serving some years in like the city guard or whatnot like that, but they keep giving him like really crappy jobs to do, like, oh, you take all the trash out to the ferry and things like that, and he just hasn't been able to get away. And now he was brought in because this is a crappy job. He's been ferrying supplies down to this town for Jenny,
Mm-hmm.
and
But he's evil.
mhm. And so he's kind of going postal, in a way.
That, or I mean, I think there's a lot of ways you could go with this. Another idea I had thought that I had started in my mind to compare him to the groundskeeper in Harry Potter,
Mm-hmm.
who just hates children and is just kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
Um, or maybe he is in the employ of Jenny's family,
Mm-hmm.
but he is evil in that he is like a double agent.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Maybe he works for somebody else or is involved in smuggling
mm-hmm.
or in. I mean, it's a good cover for a smuggling operation to be the ferry operator.
It is. I have a feeling that it's similar to what happened in one of my other campaigns, where my very famous genocide family, we saved a goblin, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to work for my family? We need somebody to take care of the animals." And the goblin's like, "I know, die." Yeah, and like I hired him on. Looking back, I kind of like just enslaved him, but he gets paid and he gets clothes and he enjoys his work now. So I mean, I don't know if I accidentally did fantasy slavery there. Like looking back on it, it's kind of but my character just didn't want to kill him and didn't want him running around in the sewers, and he was part of like a gang and he didn't want it to die. So he's like, come live at my house and do some work and earn some money, man. Like, John, we have to choose a language. Roll a d6, please.
Let's see. Don't be a 3. It's a 4.
Our kobold also speaks Goblin.
Okay. That, I would say that tracks. Anytime a sort of one of these diminutive evil or monster-based races speaks Goblin, it makes sense to me.
Okay, let's go ahead. Oh, shoosh. Let's do.
Maybe he works for goblins. Maybe he on the side, under the table, or behind the backs of his employers, is involved with smuggling operations with goblin bandits or something.
We really do like to smuggle and moonshine in this town, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
John, will you please roll 2d8?
2d8. Let me find my d8s. There's one, and there's another one. Oh, wait, is this the class roll?
This is the suggested characteristics.
Okay. A 5 and an 8.
So the Boros suggested characteristics don't really fit very well, because my honor is more important to me than my life, and I pace when standing and fidget incessantly when forced to sit. That one I can work with as a kobold, but like
Yeah.
The honor.
No, there's no honor in chaotic evil.
No, not really.
Unless it's like a very warped version of honor, right? Like blood honor.
Well, I think also it's you perceive like honor as in your own integrity, and you just call out anybody who like argues against you. You're one of those people who always talks about the haters. The haters are telling me that I can't be doing this. The haters are doing this, and like you just think everybody who
Maybe that's why he's so angry all the time. He just perceives everything as a slight against his honor.
Yeah, pretty much. Like he's like, oh, you said it. No. I'm like, the guy's like, I asked you to carry that box over there. He's like, what, you think I can't carry that box? You saying that I'm not strong enough? What's going on with you? And he just rattles off. Again, all I can picture is him being like a little chihuahua. And just like
just aggressive.
Every bigger dog he sees, the big dog's like, woof. And the little child's like, and like going up the town, like aggressively.
Yeah.
Let's see the ideal. I'm gonna roll a d6. Again, I'm looking at this as like any good, lawful. This is not a great one for our chaotic evil character. Order. Society functions only if people do their duty and respect the chain of command.
What?
What?
Is this another Boros?
Yeah, these
traits?
are all Boros ideals. Granted, we could probably switch one of these up for like a character flaw or a quirk generator.
Maybe we should have just straight up changed Boros to Rakdos. Because then everything probably would have made sense.
Yeah, but I like the idea he was in a legion and whatnot. But again, his worldview is chaotic evil. He does everything, whatever he wants, with violence, with aggression, with not talking. So he believes in a chain of command.
Yeah.
With people having to do what they're supposed to do, and gets mad when people don't do that, and gets mad when people don't perceive him as being the top of the chain or doing what he commands. And so he's the one.
All things orderly as they should be.
Snap. Kind of. He's like that. I think so. He's not one of those characters or whatnot that actively is just like, I'm going to kill everybody. No, he's just like, you're an idiot. You didn't follow the rules. And people are like, what rules? He's like, I told you to stand 5 feet away from me and shank you in the ankle. Like he has his own skewed view.
I want to say I'm glad that we chose to go with the Boros identity or background, because it's a challenge, but it shows how we're able to use these as more as prompts instead of literal interpretations.
Yeah.
So I like that. I think him being a character who is almost obsessive in his pursuit of, and has his own ideas of what honor is, and maybe they don't always make sense.
Yeah.
You can play this character in a very hilarious way, who's just always offended and angry.
Yeah.
About being slighted in some way, and then also has a sort of maybe unrealistic or like unattainable expectations in terms of like orderliness and maybe even not orderliness, but like in like
demands respect.
It's gonna offend. Yeah, he demands respect, and also he demands that other people adhere to these systems of honor that he has in his head.
Yeah. But without telling them.
Nobody else does. Without telling them, yeah. So and then him being an evil character. Well, a lot of evil characters and stories and stuff are motivated with a flawed desire to create order.
Yeah, right. And their order.
So in a way, yeah, their version of order is Anakin Skywalker's version of order, which is like rule the galaxy with me, with an iron fist.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So
I brought balance back, mostly because I broke the scales and I'm holding it there now.
Yeah.
John, could you roll D6 and find out the bonds of this strangely aggressive kobold?
All right. Every one of these roles is apprehensive. So we'll see. Again, using these as a springboard to figure out where we're going with this character. 3.
My fellow Legionnaires are my family.
That doesn't not fit.
That's straightforward. If so, anybody in like and you can skew how he views it with the family, but anybody in this city guard or this legion that Jenny's leading, this character probably views them as family. You don't always like your family, but most of the time you don't appreciate when people insult your family. So very easy to skew on that. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it. It's a very simple and straightforward view. I don't think there's a lot to add to the character from that. Let's go see his flaw. I trust the chain of command more than anything, more even than my closest friends.
Okay. I think so now we actually have some excuses and reasons why this character is chaotic evil, but somehow is able to fit within this structure, right? Because he passes a lot of authority on to the chain of command above. And so even though he's evil and might be working in this sort of self-interested ways, he's still going to respect the authority above him and follow orders.
And he also feels like he needs to exert authority through violence. He doesn't understand that he can lead. He's like, I'm in charge. Smack you. Listen to what I say. Follow my rules. And then when people are like, he was beating up like a kid, he's like, no. I was told to keep people inside.
Yeah.
So, that's a weird. So again,
this guy's weird.
Yeah.
I feel like this dude has if his physical presence, his physical body was as large as his personality, he would be the dark overlord of some keep.
Yeah.
But instead, he's like kept in line by the fact that he's like 3 feet tall and just runs a ferry.
Yeah, and he also I feel like he wants to be that leader and wants to have that authority, but when challenged with obviously he's yelling at people and Jaruk steps up. It's like, what'd you say? He's like, I'm just following the chain. And immediately cowers and goes and falls under the chain of command. I still see this character being a barbarian.
Yeah.
I would really like that.
Yeah. Now we were sad about our decks, our amazing decks getting nerfed by that whimsy dice roll, but I agree. I think this character doesn't have a bad dex.
No,
it's just not an amazing dex.
Yeah, like we wanted.
it became more of a sort of average character dice roll.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have been unhappy with the 13 if we hadn't first rolled an 18.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I'm still good with rogue or barbarian.
Yeah. So am I.
Those are my 2 picks.
Shall we roll our d12s then and find out what we get?
Yeah, I'm a little scared, but yeah, we're going to roll something stupid. I rolled a 2.
You rolled a 2? I rolled a 7. 2 is Bard. 7 is Paladin. No, wait. Yeah.
7 we can work with man.
7's where we're going. There's nothing in my mind that can change that. He's a legionnaire. He's aggressive. I guess he's supposed to be following some kind of divine thing, but I feel like he's skewed. In his mind, he is lawful.
Yeah.
But through his actions, he's chaotic.
He's just what if Napoleon was a bus driver? That's
John, would you roll a d4?
Or Emperor Nero, yeah. You know what I mean? He has the personality of an epic evildoer, yeah. But the station of a bus driver.
When you're on my ferry, you follow my rules. It's sink or swim time.
Just like when you're a kid and you get on the bus and the bus driver's like, everybody sit down.
Don't make me tap the sign.
Those windows closed.
Bus driver, it's 87. It's 98 degrees in this thing. I said windows closed.
Yep.
Go ahead and roll a
Yep.
d4 for the skills.
Okay. I rolled a 3.
So persuasion and religion. Okay. And this
Okay.
brings us to our last whimsy dice. So maybe we'll get to change our
Maybe we can change it back.
Yep. So I'm gonna roll the d6 this time.
Okay.
Again, 1 through 4.
Don't trust me to do that.
1 through 4 is one of the quirk tables or personality things, and then 5 is ability change, and 6 is a level up. It's a 6.
Oh, sweet.
This is our first level 2 character. John, could you roll a d4 so we can figure out what kind of fighting style?
Okay. 1.
Defense. While wearing armor, we gain a +1 bonus to AC.
Okay.
Okay. And we get spell casting. So we can prepare 1 spell a day.
Nice.
Which is whatever you want it to be. We're not going to roll that up because it is a prepared spell, which means you can prepare it each day. There's no reason for us to roll randomly.
It's like a cleric spell. There's a whole bunch of them. Yep.
What I didn't realize is that as a Boros Legionnaire, we also get the access to the cantrips Firebolt and Sacred Flame.
Oh.
Which is pretty cool.
He definitely is setting shit on fire all the time.
Yes. Just
sit down on my ferry or I'll set your pants on fire.
Sets people's hair on fire and crap. So I'm thinking for the name of this character, it needs to be something fire related, like Sparky or
yeah, I agree. I don't think it has to be like we used a kobold name generator for our last kobold Garu. I don't think we need to do that because I think this character in service would end up with a nickname of some kind that might be more like that might embody his personality more, which is like, you know, the dictator of the ferry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I'm
he's just a hard ass.
Pretty much.
An evil hard ass. I'm just clicking on.
I'm thinking something along the lines of like Aki Boomkin instead of Moonkin from World of Warcraft.
I have a
Jonas. I don't know why that
Jonas.
I don't know why that popped in my head. Like that just seems like somebody who's always angry kind of name.
I want it to be a name that like is like hothead.
Yeah.
Like Angry Pants. I'm looking at my name generators here trying to find something. And I haven't found one yet. Okay, I think this might do it.
We could go.
What about Razor Tooth Eduardo?
Razor Tooth Eduardo. What?
Horton the Buster.
I like
these are bandit names.
I was gonna go with the Japanese style of naming, but Razor Tooth Eduardo, I think I would change to
Eduardo.
No, what was it? Fireblade Eduardo, like
okay, Fireblade. You said Fireblade Eduardo. Do we like Eduardo that much? I'm not loving Eduardo. I feel like that's too much of a nice guy name. If you're good with Fireblade Eduardo, Saucer, Fireblade Saucer. Oh, Razortooth Saucer. I love that. So the name we have chosen is Razortooth Saucer.
Yeah. I feel like that's. I like the Razortooth that you found, and then the Saucier is pretty cool as far as like a weird Kobold
dig
name.
it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the other Legionnaires hopping on the ferry and being like, "Oh, damn it, you guys! It's Razor Tooth Saucer," and somebody's like, "Who?" And then he turns around and he's like, "Sit down! Sit down and shut up."
I'm driving the boat here. Oh man, okay, yeah. No, I think that's pretty good. I have no clue at what point we stopped getting the audio for that, but it's cool. Yeah, so I think this is great. I like this character. It's weird, it's quirky. It's not the I've got to make trouble for everybody kind of thing. It's just like randomly during the campaign, you're gonna say some things that are probably not respectable and get the party in trouble.
Yeah.
Like so.
Yeah. And he's going to act in his self-interest in like 100% of all
Yes. Yeah.
cases.
Yeah. If he wants.
Now, one thing that we've kind of forgot is that he is like 12 too.
Yes.
So this character literally is just like the angriest 12-year-old.
But you got to remember, he like okay. So hear me out here. Have you seen Umbrella Academy?
I have not.
Okay, if you have, one of the characters is a time traveling assassin called Five.
Oh, I've seen parts of it. I lied. I have seen like the first few episodes. Okay. I didn't finish.
I don't know if you've seen Five. He comes in later on in one of the like the third episode of season 1 or something like that. But in season 2, he is constantly mad at everybody's stupidity because he's so intelligent and he's lived for so long that he just like makes plans and is constantly angry at other people's stupidity. And it's just a constant, like every shot of him is basically a meme of him and an angry face. But he's in the body of like a 14-year-old. That's exactly who we made here, like with a kobold. Just this little bundle of anger who's just like, I'm doing whatever the hell I want to do because I want to do it within these like, and oh yeah, no, we made a little Five is what we made.
somewhere in between Five and Napoleon and Bert from Bert and Ernie in or Oscar the Grouch is where you should look for your inspiration to play this character.
Yes. And
cool.
And if you ever feel like this character has been slighted, you don't have to be like, oh, I have to like role play out how he's gonna. No, you punch the guy in the shin.
Yeah, he immediately resorts to violence, and he is not above immoral behavior of any sort. Immoral behavior, everything, all like we said earlier, all of the above: racism, torture, revenge, murder, theft, lying, stealing, cheating. He will do all of it.
He is the Dovahkiin of this town.
The truest murder hobo.
If you play this character at some point, when somebody gets in his face and yelling at me, just go Fusrada! And like everybody else is just like, what did you say? And then somebody who speaks Draconic is like, he said fuck you in Draconic.
I'm on board with it. Yeah, I like this guy. He's got some comedic value.
Yeah, and I hope you've all enjoyed listening to us roll up this character and make it somewhat playable in a typical campaign. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate your support through Podbean in the YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, follow, and share, please. I would say binge, but you've probably already done that. So make other people binge.
Yeah. If you're binging, you're awesome. Yeah. Please tweet at us your reactions as you binge. I would like for you to live tweet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that'd be great.
I'd love that.
You can find me, Daryl, at Raging Cajun Studio on all the platforms pretty much. Twitter at the Mokun, typically linked in the descriptions. And you can find John.
You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch as Jonicus with a 0 instead of an O.
And we will see you guys. Well, see on the next one.
Peace.